sheep. Bah. So mention one reason why the sheep is worried. Yes? Daniel? One reason why she's worried. Hey, her wool being sheared, okay? Yes, her tail being docked. Okay, so choose one. One reason why the sheep is worried. The sheep is worried. Let me begin the answer for you. The sheep is worried worried of, you can use the word of. You can say of losing her what? Her tail. Hey, worried of losing her tail. You don't have, in some answers, in some questions, you don't have to use all the words that are in the question, but just to indicate, to show that you have understood the question. Because if a tail is docked, then that sheep will have lost the tail. She will not have that tail. So you can say, the sheep is worried of losing her tail. You can say her tail by docking. Okay, but let's end here, of losing her tail, of her tail being docked. Who decides how much load the donkey carries? Let's go to the donkey. Where is the donkey? In which verse? In the first, the second, the third, the fourth verse. Which one? In the third verse, which is, yes, I live with great uncertainty she braves. I don't know where I will go tomorrow, how many kilograms of load I'll carry, because my master dictates, cries the donkey. So the question is, who decides how much load the donkey carries? Yes, the donkey's master. The donkey's master. You write donkeys just like you write keys that we use to open, donkeys. In plural, it becomes just an S. You just add an S. Okay, the donkeys, but don't forget the apostrophe. The donkey's master decides how much. Decides how much load. So you don't have to repeat the word donkey, okay? Not even the donkey. The donkey's master decides how much load the donkey carries. No. The donkey's master decides how much load. Which pronoun can we use instead of the donkey? Because we have mentioned the donkey as the noun. The definite article, donkey, donkey's master, decides how much load it, thank you, Juma, it carries, the donkey carries. It carries. With the 200 kilograms, you add that 60 also, so that he carries 200. We don't have any problem. So the master decides, the donkey's master decides how much load it carries. It carries. The question is, it carries, not it will carry. Be careful. In the question, we have it carries. The donkey carries. The donkey carries. The donkey carries. But let's look at the verse. I live in great uncertainty, she brays. I don't know where I will go tomorrow. How many kilograms of load I'll carry. I'll carry in the future. But here, how much load the donkey carries. So you must answer according to the tense. Carries. Not will carry. That is future. So here, who decides how much load the donkey carries? Don't say that donkey's master decides how much load it will carry, because in the question, there is no will. So always answer according to the question. Okay, number 9, we are soon coming to the end. And after this, we're going to go for a short break, and make sure that you find me here after break, and we see how to continue. But I am looking here with you at how to answer questions. Children, parents, fellow teachers, I would like to say that it is one thing a child knowing what to answer, and how to answer is yet another. I repeat, it is one thing a child knowing what to answer, and yet it is another knowing how to answer. You may know the answer, but again, the way you put it may not be right. So here we are trying to practice. That is why in your free time, you should be able to write your own poems, set questions of your own, and then answer those very questions. Then take that work to the teacher. Write a poem, write a passage, just have practice about it. Write a dialogue, and you'll make sure that by the close of the term, you have had enough practice, because practice has always made perfect. Number 9, second last. Anything that is second last in good English is called the penultimate. Penultimate, meaning the one before the last. The ultimate is the last. The penultimate is the one before the last. So number 9 is the penultimate, the second last. Which animal's tail is docked according to the poem? Simple as ABC. Yes, Joan. Which animal's tail is docked according to the poem? Good, good, good. The sheep's tail. The sheep's tail. Remember, animals, there's an apostrophe here showing possession, the possessive case. The sheep's. After P, what happens? Apostrophe up there. The sheep's tail. Don't say the animal whose tail is docked according. It becomes too long an answer to write. So, which animal's tail is docked according to the poem? And always be sure, according to the poem is part of your answer. Well, according to you, Mr. Kabusu, according to you, what do you think is the cause of that war? Then you answer and say, according to me, I think the cause of that poem is lack of patience. This is the point. According to me, in your opinion. So if according to you is put there, or in your opinion, use it in your answer. Which animal's tail is docked according to your poem? So you end your sentence like that. But if you had decided to begin with according to, you'd have said, according to the poem, comma, the sheep's tail is docked. Full stop. Okay? But you have said, the sheep's tail is docked, then comma, according to the poem. We're all correct. The sheep's tail is docked, comma, according to the poem. Not this, but the poem, according to the poem. Don't forget the beautiful, handsome full stop. The sheep's tail is docked according to the poem. Okay. Ultimately, we come to the end. Which animals cry about bushfires and drought? Which animals, plural? So you're going to answer this using the word plural. And then make sure the word cry is handled as it's supposed to be. So which animals cry about bushfires and drought? Here, are you told to mention the animals? The elephant, the lion? No. Which animals cry about bushfires and drought? We look at where the answer comes from. Okay? We live in great uncertainty. We in plural. This has been I, but it is we in plural. We live in great uncertainty. They cry in unison together. We don't know when the bushfires or drought will come, when deadly, dangerous epidemics will strike, will hit, or forests cut, because man decides it all, cry the wild animals. Which is the skeleton of the answer? Is it domestic or wild animals? Yes, Nakaiza? Yes, wild animals is the answer. So our answer must have wild animals. animals. Which animals cry about bushfires and drought? So, Nakaiza, form the answer. Wild animals, thank you, dear. Wild animals cry about. You cannot say wild animals cries, but a wild animal cries. A wild dog cries. A lion cries. I don't know whether a lion cries anyway, because he's always there to roar and threaten and frighten people before him, because he's the king of the jungle. So wild animals cry about. Make sure your spellings are perfect. Your spellings are perfect. Your handwriting is far better than mine. It must be angelic. Wild animals cry about bushfires. I remember telling you, time and again I'm talking, that if your handwriting is worse than mine, then be sure it is not going to make you get good marks, and people will not appreciate. Because remember, you are communicating. Your handwriting must be far better than mine, an old man. Bushfires and wild animals cry about bushfires and what? And drought. A drought is a prolonged dry season. A dry season that has been made long. It has become very long. So long that wild animals have died. There are bushfires. There is not enough pasture, not enough water for the animals to drink. And so life becomes a challenge and an impossibility sometimes. So wild animals cry about bushfires and drought. Now, we have seen how we have been able to answer each of these questions. This is comprehension, and it calls for our reading a piece of writing, making sure we study it from the beginning to the end, so that every part of that piece of writing is a part of us. We understand it, we comprehend it. That is why we call it comprehension. Yes, let's go for break, after which we shall come and resume. I remember saying to resume is to start again. We shall resume, we shall have a resumption of our work, and remember, this is the e-learning